Okay, hi guys and welcome to the show. Oh, I've got a hole in my glove. I still need to get new gloves. Anyway, I thought I'd start today's video off with something very, very special indeed. Now, you guys have seen I've been talking about divers for the longest, and I never included Doxa for good reason. I'm not going to talk about a watch or a brand I've never experienced, but today that changes because in this box is a Doxa. Well, I hope there's a Doxa, otherwise I'm going to look really stupid. Anyway, to unwrap the box today, that hole is really annoying me. To unwrap the box today, I am using my beautiful Spyderco that was sent to me by the epic Snuggle Bunny. If you haven't checked out his channel, he has a fantastic channel all about knives. So let's get into this bad boy. Wow, now that is some packaging. So I presume you just... Nice. What a way... Oh, look at that. Little drum roll, please. Ooh, no. Look at that. Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh, that is a nice... chunky, manly, masculine watch. Look at that. Look at that blue. Ooh. Sorry, I'm making rather rude sounds. I do apologize. I can't help it. I get excited. I get excited. So, quick shout out to my good friend Wayne who sent this in. Just look at that dial. Oh, it's gorgeous. Well, my initial impressions is very, very solid. It's a big one, but look at that cushion case, quite striking. Love the bracelet. Let's get it going. Well, it's going already because it's an automatic. Very nice feel to it. I have no idea about the spec or the model, but it is hackable. I presume it's an ETA, but look, you know guys, I'm going to do the full review very, very soon, so this is just my initial impressions, but I gotta say I love that bezel. It must have two parts, or it looks like it's two parts, with this brushed inner part and then a polished outer part. Oh, just, it's very, very tooly, isn't it? It looks the business. I mean... that dial, let's screw down the crown. Actually, you know what? Let's just quickly put it on. I have no idea about the size. I'm guessing definitely bigger than a 42, I think. Let's just have a look. Actually, it's not that bad. I mean, it's a big watch, definitely. But for a diver, it doesn't overhang my tiny little wrist. God, am I going to get into Doxas now? That's the last thing I need. Another diver brand to fall in love with. That minute hand and second hand. Very modern. It kind of has a crosshairs on the dial, which, look at those indices. I bet the lume is amazing. I can't wait to review that. Anyway, looking forward to getting to know this piece. Thank you once again to Wayne, and what a way to start a show with something, an unboxing, initial impressions of something so striking, so bold, but yet immediately drawn to it. I'm very intrigued. I can't wait to find out more about it. Excellent. Anyway, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it on an NATO. Nah, I will review it on both NATO and bracelet. Anyway, what an unboxing. Okay guys, so stay tuned for the full review. Let's roll the intro and get into today's video. Quick wristwatch check before I get into it. My little Speedmaster, this is the Shumi. Beautiful little automatic limited edition Speedmaster there. What can I say? It just brightens my day. That little pop of color always brings a smile to my face. So first of all, let's have a quick look at some books that I found on eBay for an astonishingly low price. It boggles my mind, but there's so many great books out there. Some books on watches and clocks in there as well. So it is, don't worry, it is horology related. So let's take a look at that right now. Now, you guys know I stalk watches left, right, and center on eBay, but I also pick up a lot of movies and books. And books, it's a bit of a sad indictment of how society has gone, but books, you can find a lot of these classic books for literally a few dollars. So I thought I'd share that today. What is Western civilization's loss is definitely my gain. And actually, before I get into this, I've got to share with you my bookmark. This is a Nomos bookmark, and this was given to me by my good friend Rainer, and if you're watching, I hope you're well, my friend. And it has a little cutout from the factory, cut out from a piece that went into a watch, and I think every bookmark has a different part from the factory, and there's some details about the hands there and everything, so very cool. So I keep it horological even when I'm reading books, so I just thought I'd share that. Now, we'll start with an absolute classic, George Orwell's Animal Farm. Haven't read this since I was a kid, but it's really nice to revisit a classic, and this was only, shockingly, $1, so absolutely fantastic. Next we have Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. I'm thinking about buying Mandeville's works as well to kind of compare to this after I've read this. It is quite a heavy book. It's going to take me absolutely donkeys, but I will get there. Undoubtedly an important work, so definitely going to enjoy this. Next, and rather ashamedly, I've never read this book, even though I quote Marcus Aurelius all the time. Probably one of the most important books of that period. This is his Meditations, and if you're not familiar with Aurelius, he was probably the ultimate archetype warrior philosopher. And actually, I started reading this yesterday while I was in bed recovering from a tremendous hangover. And I got to say, even though it was written, when was this written? He was an emperor when he wrote this. So what's rather astounding about this book is that everything he teaches is just still so relevant to today. It's very contemporary in many ways. It's quite prophetic and very insightful, and I'm really enjoying this. So I still have to finish it, but yeah, rather ashamed I've never even read this, but you know, this was $1, so again, and actually it was in pristine condition, so a great find. Next we have Bruno Leski's Dome. This was actually recommended to me by a friend, and I saw it going very cheap on eBay, so I snagged it up. It's got a really nice cover with the little profile there of Brunelleschi. As you guys know, I lived and studied in Florence, met my wife there, so undoubtedly one of the greatest cities in the world, and I miss it tremendously. I can't wait to go back. What could I say about Florence? So yeah, I miss looking at Brunelleschi's Capolavoro there. So quite a short book, so I'm going to enjoy reading this. As you guys know, I'm fascinated by history as well, and this is extra special obviously because it's Brunelleschi, so I'm really looking forward to reading that. Next we have an interesting book. I've read this. This is really quick read, but very insightful. Now this chap Miyamoto here, he's a master swordsman, and he applies everything, his lessons in life, or what he's learned from swordsmanship, to kind of strategy and how you can apply it to everyday life. Some of it is irrelevant. I mean, you know, when it talks about like for example here, where was it? You know, cuts and slashing. Obviously, that's not going to be very useful to everyday life. But the strategic aspect, the way of thinking, the strategy of swordsmanship is really valuable lessons you can apply to business, to dealing with people. Again, it's quite relevant to the modern world. Actually, I did a video about Japanese literature a long time ago, but yeah, this one's been on my to-read list forever, so I'm very happy I finally got it in, and again, only $1. Next, we have the only book I actually bought new. I couldn't find it used. It was only $12.95 anyway. So, Watch Repair for Beginners. Now, I gotta admit, guys, a part of me doesn't really want to know. You know, I kind of, it removes the magic away a little bit from mechanical timepieces, but it's more really for reference, which is always very useful. Far too technical, a lot of it, but it is, as I said, it is good for reference. Fantastic book, and I will be I will be addressing kind of watch repair more in the future and talking a little bit more about the actual mechanics. I have been thinking about kind of experimenting a little bit with some cheap Seikos. A friend of mine is actually doing that, so it's a lot more difficult than it seems. Definitely useful, and I'm starting to collect a lot more books about horology and watches in general. So yeah, very welcomed addition to my collection. And last but no means least, probably my favorite pickup of them all. And this really is quite special because it reminds me of childhood. A lot of the clocks in here I do actually remember from visiting the British Museum. The British Museum, one of the world's, well, probably the world's most important museum, because it was a first. It set the kind of precedent. It set the standard for all museums around the world to be based on that formula. So but absolutely stunning pictures. You'll recognize that picture there from my history of horology video. Still got to do part 2 on the history of watches, but so yeah, it's just goes in about their collection. Here we have beautiful medieval clock, and then later on to the Renaissance, more kind of very involved, complicated things, onto pocket watches, obviously. But probably my favorite has to be this one. I do remember very fondly this extremely ornate. This is from Prague, I think. The actual clock, there's a close-up here, is actually there on the deck of the ship, and it's all mechanized. You see these figures rotate. It's absolutely fascinating. So beautiful. Oh, there's a Tompion. I love my Tompion clocks. I'm very much getting into clocks. I really want to get a Jaeger-LeCoultre Atmos clock, but I'll save that for another video. But anyway, so I do collect clocks as well, mainly kind of Bauhaus and Art Deco clocks, but oh, just gorgeous, lovely pictures. I bought this for the pictures. I'm not going to read any of it. I just want the pictures. Just look at that beautiful mahogany, beautiful long case mahogany clocks, just gorgeous. Anyway, absolute steal, absolutely fantastic. So what is next? Well, I thought I'd share with you my latest Signet ring. Now, it's taken about, I think, a month or so to do from when I initially sent in the design. It's a jeweler's in the UK that I've had work done by them before, and so I'm a returning customer. And I really recommend it. It's a beautiful tradition, something to be remembered by. You know, really get a customized ring and reflect your taste and personalities. And if you're not into this, it's a great tradition to start. You know, not only can you hand down wristwatches as family heirlooms, but I think a Signet ring is a beautiful way to be remembered. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at my latest Signet ring. Now, if you're a regular of the show, you will undoubtedly know of my admiration for Signet rings, a bit of a family tradition. And a few years ago, I had this one made with my initials. I broke away with the traditional family coat of arms or family crest. They do it slightly differently in Europe. I did a video all about it. Guys, I'll put a card up there, so check out that video on Signet rings. I'd give a little bit of history. Anyway, this is the company that did my ring. And since then, they've set up an Instagram with really nice, beautiful pictures of their work. In fact, actually, I think that's a fellow viewer who got their ring done, kind of inspired by mine. Now, the tradition is to have it inverse like this, because obviously they're used for a wax seal, like a personal signature. However, you obviously can't do that with initials. So I decided to make the Mark III. This is the Mark II. This is the second ring now I've had, and I wanted to do something a little different. So I'm a little bit nervous, but I have faith in Oxford. Let's just give a quick shout out to them, because they do deserve a mention. This is the Oxford Signet Ring Company, family business, and there's the website. They're based in Bexley in the United Kingdom. Anyway, so this took about a month to do, and I'm very, very nervous. I'll do a full review later on, but I thought I'd do the unboxing today. Drum roll, please. Let's open her up. Oh, okay. We've got a lovely little wooden box. Let's open her up. Oh, look at that. There it is. Wow, look at that. Gorgeous. Now, as you can see, I've gone for the family crest, which is also the logo of the channel. I designed this one myself. I wanted to have my initials still there, but done at the bottom. This is a total breakaway from tradition, and it's a bit of a faux pas, but you know, it's the 21st century. I'm still carrying on the tradition, but I've decided to do it my own way because I'm not like my blue-blooded ancestors. I'm a bit of a mongrel myself, so let's put it on. It's just perfect. They send you a little plastic, actually let me find it. They send you one of these, and you fit it, and each one's got a number, and then you just email them with a design, or you send them your family crest. And about a month or so later, the Mark III, gorgeous. Really happy with that. Really happy with that. Oh, I'm over the moon with that. Really happy. Look at, oh. Now this is the Oxford style, which is the most classic. I went for 9-carat yellow gold, which is much harder than the softer 18-carat gold. These are exactly the same size, so 14 by 12 millimeters, so that's the size I went for. I may have very tiny wrists, but I do have quite large hands, and especially very long, thin fingers, so I had to go for quite a small size. You know, I think it complements the size of my hands. Any smaller and I think it will get lost. Any bigger, I think it's too much. Absolute pure class. So we got the Wolford Lion holding the Crusader Cross. Really happy with that. Beautifully done. So very, very pleased with that. I totally recommend this company. Their prices are very reasonable for the service they do, and you can see all their work. That's very similar to my family crest there. Only mine holds the cross because my family were Crusaders way back in the day. Oh, they do cufflinks now as well. Fantastic. Goldcrest-signet-rings.co.uk. So thank you guys for doing a terrific job. So let's take it back to the studio. So let's take a look at my good friend Scott's wristwatch collection. Now, if you're interested in having your wristwatch collection reviewed, bear in mind there is a bit of a queue now. I've got about 3 or 4 collections still to review, and I do apologize for you guys out there still waiting. It's very, very simple. All I do in return for a watch review, all I ask is a donation to a charity of your choice. If you'd like to submit your collection, email theurban@gmail.com, all one word, and there will be a set of instructions of how to apply and what I need in order to make a video like this. Now, some of you may remember Scott H, he wants to be referred to. He lent in his beautiful Omega Seamaster 300, which I reviewed a while ago. Absolutely stunning. So without further ado, let's take a look at his collection. TGV, it's great that you encourage your viewers to give to charitable causes. It's important for those of us who have been blessed in life to contribute to the less fortunate. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Scott. I've attached a confirmation receipt for the contribution to Compassion International. They're a Christian charity dedicated to improving the lives of impoverished children. My gosh, what a generous donation, Scott. Thank you so much. I doff my imaginary cap to you, sir. This is what makes it all worth it. I don't mind doing this work if it helps other people. It really means a lot to me. So, onto the watches. My core collection, he has 6 watches. The flagship of sorts is my Rolex Seadweller 16600. It's a mid-90s piece with tritium dial. Gorgeous. This watch is absolutely indestructible and has been my go-to wearer since I bought it in 2011. It holds a special place in my heart because I wore it in my deployment in Afghanistan. Fantastic. Thank you very much, sir, for your service. And he wore it on a rubber bead bracelet. I think of it as my own personal MILF sub in a way. I like that. I like that. I have the oyster steel bracelet, but I prefer to wear it on rubber, leather, or NATO for comfort. Absolutely. A man after my own heart. Spot on. You know I approve. Second is a previous generation Aqua-Terra 2503.33. White dial with blue hands. Love those blue hands. I love white dials with blue hands. I think it's such the contrast works so well, you know. 39mm, it's a 2500C movement, which is the modified ETA 2892. Nothing wrong with that. I think that's great. with the addition of the coaxial escapement. I love this generation of movement because it gives the horological benefit of a coaxial escapement without the comical thickness of most 8500. Yes, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. The first generation of Aqua-Terras is particularly meaningful because it was my first luxury watch. Great place to start. 36mm. Frequently wear the Aqua-Terra in a formal setting. Perfect. Quite James Bond of you. Either in a suit or military dress uniform. Outstanding. Even as my dressy watch, the Aqua-Terra still has the robustness of the Speedmaster line, including 150 water resistance. Yes. Again, I mean, you know exactly what you're talking about. I don't even have to do anything. It's all written down for me. Thank you, Scott. Third is my Omega Speedmaster 31304230010006. This is why I never memorize Omega reference numbers. Absolutely. This is the standard moon watch version. What's there to say? It's a great everyday watch. So easy to grab and go in the morning with no date to worry about setting. Yes, I totally agree. Absolutely. It's funny, when I had the Black Bay, I missed the date, not having the date, but for some reason I forget totally with the Speedmaster. I think because every time I look at it, I'm so mesmerized by the chronograph and the dial, you just forget about the date. Anyway, yes, absolutely. Yeah, the Speedies are great everyday watches. I used to change the straps a lot, but after happening upon a pictured mesh bracelet a few years ago, I have stuck with this combo. This is my only high-end watch I've bought new from an AD. Very interesting. I've recently done the same thing with my Breitling and a mesh bracelet. It just is something about a chronograph and mesh. I don't know what it is. I think, who knows? Anyway, next is the Glycine, forgive my pronunciation, Lagunare 1000385019D9. This baby is almost a magnificent 46mm. Wow. Wow, it's very, very kind of Glycine-esque. But very Glycine. Although the size is, wow, it's a big one. If anything, it looks even bigger because of the whole expanse of the case covered by the crystal. To be honest, this watch is totally out of character for me, as I generally prefer 38mm to 42mm. But you always need one watch that breaks the rules, absolutely. So in a way, this is kind of your wild card, I guess. This one checked several boxes for me. I love Glycine brand, me too. I wanted one big, bold watch, and most of all, I wanted a watch with an internal rotating bezel. Yes, yeah, they're very cool, aren't they? Yeah, I love them. I looked at several options from Longines, JLC, Maurice Lacroix, I hope I pronounced that right, and others, but the Glycine won out. Yes, the internal bezel, super compressor type, is sort of a novelty, but I love the look and wanted a watch with this feature. This watch doesn't take itself too seriously and injects a big dose of fun into an otherwise rather restrained collection. Yes, yeah, you have quite, it's definitely a very tooly collection of, I kind of tell you're in the military from the, from your lineup, which is quite interesting. But yeah, absolutely. That said, it's still a completely engineered diver and has a full 300-meter water resistance. Incredible. When swimming, the huge dial looks even bigger when magnified underwater. Interestingly, even at somewhat ridiculous 46mm, the Glycine is incredibly comfortable on the wrist. Yeah, Glycine do that very well. I suspect it's probably the shape of the case. It's the same thing with the Combat Sub, even though that watch was too big for me. It's and actually the Airmans, the bigger Airmans. Absolutely. Then we have the Watchco Omega Speedmaster 300, which he lent in for review very kindly, and oh, that was terrible sending that watch back. Beautiful, beautiful watch, which you were kind enough to review on the channel a few months back. Well, thank you to you, sir. I highly encourage everyone interested to watch your magnificent video. Thank you, sir. To me, this is about as good as watch aesthetics get. Yes. Yes, absolutely. I just love everything about it. Me too, my friend. Me too. And last but by no means least, another watch that you are familiar with, me, that is, the Seiko SKX009 which you sold to me, which yes, I did. I forgot I did, but yes, absolutely. Truthfully, I was somewhat concerned that the SKX would be redundant among my other divers, especially the Rolex, but that has not turned out to be the case at all. Yes, the SKX effect, right? The SKX effect. They rarely complement each other. I love the lume on the Seiko and how comfortable it wears. For a fairly thick 42mm watch, it fits like a glove. This is a great example of how nominal dimensions don't always tell the whole story of how a watch will wear. Absolutely. And I've got to give a shout out to GGV for putting so much effort into extras included with the watch. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. The least I can do. The least I can do. Felt like Christmas. Fantastic. In terms of future directions, I'm actually very content with the collection how it currently is. I pick up the occasional mid-range vintage piece to ward off the watch buying bug. Yes, I think we're definitely all guilty of that. But in terms of day-to-day watches, these 6 meet my needs and fit my lifestyle well. If I was to add another watch in the near future, I've had my eye on a birth year watch, a 1986 Rolex Datejust in steel, either the 16014 fluted bezel or the 1603 engine turn bezel. Yeah, I've owned both of those Datejust in I think blue, yeah, with blue dials. So great Datejust. You can't go wrong with a Datejust. I think yeah, you should go for it. Christian from Theo and Harris is actually keeping an eye out for me, and I'm turning 30 this year, so it might be a good opportunity for a birth year piece. But there's really no hurry. After all, my birthday is not changing. Absolutely. Eventually, I'd also like to get one of those truly top-end dress watches like a Lange or a VC or an Independent. Absolutely, but that's my long-term goal, and to be honest, a watch like that wouldn't suit my current lifestyle. I welcome your thoughts and opinions. Thank you for taking the time to consider my humble collection. Look forward to all your videos. All the best. God bless, Scott H. Well, an absolute pleasure, Scott. You made it so easy for me. A beautifully written email. I love the story. I love the logic behind your collection. I love your selection, tasteful, robust. Like I said, you can definitely tell he's in the military. He's a military guy. There's no pretense here. It's just they're tool watches. You've got some real classics. At the same time, you have, you know, one or two pieces like the Aqua-Terra, like the Glycine, that, you know, show your own individuality there. But at the same time, I just love it. I think it's perfect. I think maybe a high-end dress watch would be great, but you're like me. It doesn't suit our current lifestyle. I can't wear a Lange going and walking earnest and him chewing on it, you know. So you're obviously an active guy. What would I add to this? I think you could do with something with it. You know, I know you consider the Glycine your kind of wild card, but it's not really that wild, is it? I mean, maybe something with a little bit more pizzazz. Maybe a Seiko Monster, perhaps. But to be honest, what else? I think actually, you know what? A GMT. Have you ever considered a GMT? How about a Rolex Explorer 2? Maybe a white dial to differentiate between your other tool watches. Or maybe the new ceramic GMT Master 2, the BLNR or BN, whatever it is. Sorry, my brain. How about a GMT? I think a GMT or if you're gonna go higher end. I know, I've got a good one. Got a great one. The Jaeger-LeCoultre Navy SEALs Diver. That's a tough looking watch, but at the same time, you know, you got a Jaeger-LeCoultre in there, the watchmaker's watchmaker, so to speak. So you are getting a little bit of that pedigree, but it's not being a high-end dress watch. It still matches your lifestyle, but it's still Jaeger-LeCoultre, if that makes sense. Maybe that. What else? I agree. Right now, a dress watch, it's just not going to match your lifestyle. I agree. Anyway, it's an outstanding collection. I really don't think there's much I can say. You're obviously a very clever chap, and I mean, who am I to tell you what to do? It's perfect. My favorite, I think it's got to be the Omega, the Costco you sent in. It's the Costco. Sorry, not Costco. Watchco. Did I say Costco? Sorry, the Watchco. why am I saying, anyway, I don't know. I think it's an absolute classic. It's special, and it's only going to get more special. Yeah, it's a Watchco, but who cares? It's still a real Omega, in my opinion. Actually, you know what, the Seadweller, because you wore it in Afghanistan, that is the kind of memories and experience you have with a watch that makes it timeless, that makes it yours, you know. So cherish it, and you know, all the scratches and dents and anything like that just adds to it, you know. So be proud of that watch, especially on a deployment where you're risking your own life, serving your country. It's very, very special indeed. So those two are definitely outstanding collection. Anyway guys, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know your thoughts, queries, questions, opinions, all the rest of it. Thank you once again to Scott, and also for that generous donation to charity. Really makes this all worth it. Thank you very, very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and found it useful. And as always guys, I will catch you in the next one. Okay, ciao.